us black men in America, we have to truly realize that the society perceives us as literally being the enemy. As individual black men out in everyday society, there's people when they see us walking, when they see us, they literally see you as the enemy. Other races of men, they train their daughters, their nieces, their sister-in-laws, the girlfriends. These other races of men even train black women to view the black man as the enemy. When people see us on a day-to-day basis, a lot of people, they see you as an individual black man as a literal enemy. We're behind enemy lines in America. I mean, a lot of us black men, we experience racism. We know the history of this country. We know the society has historically been against us as black men. We've gone through slavery. We've gone through Jim Crow era. And historically, it's obvious that this society has been against us as black men. But in the 21st century, you know, we're living in society amongst other races. We have rights, you know. We can have jobs and do regular things that regular people do. I mean, we don't have to sit in the back of the bus anymore as a black man, but we still live in a anti-black male society in today's modern age. And a lot of us black men, we've gotten so accustomed to society being against us and viewing us as the enemy that sometimes we forget that we are truly perceived as the enemy. And to add on to that, I mean, a lot of us black men, we may think because segregation is over that we have rights now. Because of those things, a lot of us black men, we might think that we might forget that we're still viewed as the actual enemy, as the actual threat. And since we are no longer living in the same blatant racist society as the 50s and 60s, a lot of us are blinded by that. We're blinded as black men by the fact that we no longer live in a blatant society like the 50s and 60s. And that a lot of times causes us to forget how this society truly perceives us as black men because we don't blatantly experience racism like how we did in the past. We don't get called the N-word anymore. Our houses don't get burnt down by KKK like how it did back in the 50s and 60s. But a lot of people still silently see you, the black man, as the enemy. And that's something my black brothers in this current day and age need to realize. You're literally perceived as the enemy. These other races literally see you as the enemy. Literally. I mean, they just can't act on it like how they could have acted on it in past generations. Like in past generations, people, other races of men, white men in particular, they'll see a black man and they'll try to get on dirt. They'll try to jump a black man. They'll try to do some type of physical harm to a black man. And those actions that white men did against black men, those actions made it clear as day in a black man's head, like, okay, I'm literally seen as the enemy. But because in today's age, white men, other races of men, they can't blatantly get on BS with us like how they did in past generations. Sometimes that causes us to forget how we're actually perceived. I mean, these other races of men, they literally see you as the enemy. And a lot of them, if they could get away with it, and if we weren't living in the day and age, like in today's age, people can't blatantly do racist things like how they did in the 50s and 60s towards black men. But a lot of these other races of men, even these other races of women, if they knew that they could get away with certain things in today's age, if we were still living in a racist environment, the blatant racist environment, like back in the 50s and 60s, but it was in today's age, a lot of these people, a lot of these other races of men, they would literally try to harm you if they could get away with it, if we were living in that racist environment, like how it was in the 50s and 60s. A lot of these races, other races of men, still have the same hatred for you as a black man. They still oppose you. When they see you, they might want to harm you, but they just can't act on it because we're no longer living in those blatant racist days like how it was in the 50s and 60s. And since we no longer live in those blatant racist days, we're still seen as the enemy though, and these other races of men, they just have to display their anti-black maleness in different forms. They just have to be more tactical with it. In today's age, they can't do hate crimes against us like how they used to in most cases. They can't go around and be jumping black men, burning down black men houses and stuff. But they can train their women. And they could train black women also to oppose you, black man, to strip you away from the sexual market. And that's exactly what's happening in today's age. These other races of men, they see you as the enemy. They see the black American man as the number one sexual threat to them, to the number one threat to them in general. And they train all races of women, these other races of men. They train all these other races of women. They train black women to oppose you, to not fuck with you, to not spread their legs to you. They're trying to strip you away from the sexual market, man. They're trying to shit on your manhood, and it's still a war against you. It's just more tactical. It's just more subtle. And if these other races of men, if they could get away with it, they would try to harm you. There's a lot of people in society who secretly, silently, when they see you, they want to harm you. And we have to realize this as black men. The war against us isn't over. And us as black men, we have to unite. We have to get on our P's and Q's. We can't be bitch ass niggas out here, man. We have to be tough. We have to unite, and we have to fight back. We have to be tactical too. I mean, if these other races of men, they train their daughters, they train their wives, they train women in their family to oppose us. They train black women. They train all races of women, these other races of men, to oppose the black American man. We have to do the same. We have to fight back in the war, man. We have to train our black daughters to view these other races of men as the enemy. You know?